Oh, what's up YouTube? Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some custom signs out of some simple wood scrap pieces that you could find. This could be used for a gift or just any lettered kind of sign you would need. I'm going to get right into it and show you guys how it's done. Alright, I got Landon back here already. Put some stain on one of his that he's going to be making. So kind of as far as it goes is you start with a sheet kind of like this. It's just MDF with a little, it's like a 30-second of material on top of it. But this is going to be the background here. So I start by cutting a piece out like this. Cut it however you want. As you can see, I got the scrap pieces up there, kind of just some spare wood. So if you have access to sheets like this, otherwise you can buy them and cut them down. It doesn't cost a whole lot. Anyways, start by cutting a piece like this, get it all sanded down with the orbital sander. Then the next step we moved on to is putting the stain on. So we just set stain on. We're gonna let this sit for like 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna wipe this off. And yeah, then we're gonna get some sticks, carve those down, and show you guys from there. All right, now that you got your piece with the stain on it, waiting for the stain to dry a little bit, you're gonna grab these lath pieces here. Pretty cheap, you can get these at the store, pretty reasonable. But these are gonna come with a bunch of scratches on them like this. This is gonna be the trim of the frame of the letterboard. So what you're gonna do is find the better looking side, whatever side you would rather have on there. And then you're gonna sand that down until all these scratches are gone. And then we'll apply stain to these also. Alright, so now once you got these sanded down, they're nice and smooth. All the rough edges are gone and all the scratches like that side. Once you got them here, make sure you get all the little scratches because you can see them once you put the stain on. So it's very important is that you get all these little scratches, which I'm probably gonna go over it one more time quick. And then after all that, we can start staining. So come inside and we'll start staining these boys. Okay, so here we got the lighter stain. These are the ones that we're actually gonna use on his letterboard. But for the sake of the video, just showing you that we're doing every step. He's putting the darker stain on now. Landon, what is your method to putting the stain on?
I don't have one, I just do it.
Alright, so after walking around a little bit, didn't take too much time. These are about the thickness of the sticks you're looking for. So, not super big, but also not tiny. These are how you're gonna make your letters right here. You're gonna start by carving these down. So, grab a razor blade or something and carve them down. You don't gotta carve them too crazy. Just kind of like this one, even though I just found this one. But yeah. All right, I got Landon here. He's cutting away at these sticks, just removing all the bark. I'm over here with the multi-tool, just kind of trimming off like the big knots and stuff that stick out. But yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of sticks to make the lettering as much as you think it would. Alright, now we got Landon carving the sticks. I'm going to show you guys how to put on the trim here, which in our case are just pieces of lath that we sanded down nicely. So to start, I put one of these on so I don't have to make extra cuts. I'm going to line that end up right there, then kind of line it up here. And before I even cut it, I'm going to start by tacking a nail in right here. All right, on these, I like to start with putting one nail in the corner. And I'm going to come to this other side here, make sure it's where I want it. And if you messed up this cut at all, the trim will help you hide that. So you put the trim so you can't see any wood sticking out. But anyways, put it here. Then you're going to tack another nail in on this side. And then I got a bonus trick for you guys. You got these little nails here. You can hit them with a hammer. Make sure you got a flat hammer though, so when you hit them flush, it doesn't leave a mark on here. I will show you a different secret though. All right, like I said, depending on how many tools you have, if you have one of these work great for sinking the nail slightly below here without leaving any hammer marks at all. Otherwise, you can just use a hammer, make sure it's a flat one, and just tap those flush. As long as you don't angle the hammer, the wood should look fine. All right, now that I got a nail on this side, all we're gonna do here is cut this off. You can cut it flush. Otherwise, if you don't have the right saw or tools to do that, you can cut it a tiny bit bigger and then always sand it down flush on this side. And then we're gonna do the same exact thing to the top. All right, Landon's taking over putting the nails in, but I do have these ones put in here. I just cut these with a saw or something, and if you do end up with a little scratching like that, you can kind of touch it up with a little bit of stain. And then these, I'll just sand these off, make it a little bit easier, not chip them like that again. All right, Landon is doing T-fam. So to cut these, I just use the multi-tool here. Kind of, you just start by grabbing some sticks and laying them out, cutting, and then like for simple letters like the A, I just grab a stick, cut them in half so they look right, and then the M, cut those in half. Same thing there. Then you're gonna lay it out, and it's gonna take a while. You gotta adjust them to where the spacing looks correct. And then, like, we're probably gonna move these two down here. Then once you got the spacing correct, you're gonna start by just one letter at a time. And then you're gonna keep putting up the next letter, and so on until you got them all tacked. But for tacking them, I'd do like one nail in each corner, and one there and there, and there and there. You could try use wood glue, but I always found out that just the nails alone work the best. All right, now once you got them staged, start with one letter at a time. The other ones will move around a little bit and shift, which is fine. I just focus on one at a time. Sometimes you get a little bit of cracking like that, which is normal, but if it cracks too much, you're gonna have to use a new piece of wood. But yeah, this is probably the trickiest part of it all. It's just getting these little nails into here. But if you do have a nail gun, it could make it 10 times easier. But this is kind of the process on here. All right, now that we got all the letters in place and tapped on with nails, now we're gonna go around and clean up these edges. But just to show you guys, you're gonna drill right here with a drill bit, depending on the size of string you got. This is what I'm working with over here, going for that natural look. You're gonna drill the holes kind of like right here and right here. And when you feed the string through, I like to make the knots in the front. And then when it's sitting flush against the wall, it'll just sit better if the string is ran from the back and the knot is in the front. And then once we do that, drill the holes, run the string, then we're gonna wipe off all the little sawdust and stuff, and then we're gonna put a clear coat on it. All right, so this is the final result after the clear coat. Looks a little bit more shiny, a little bit better. Obviously you can take your time on it, make it look a little bit nicer than this. We kind of rushed this one in only a couple hours, but if you want the best results, let all your stain dry first before you keep moving on, and you space the letters out a little bit better, or you can adjust it as you need. This is just kind of an idea for a cheap DIY that's sentimental to family members. That concludes the DIY board. Had Landon do it for his first time. I've made 2 of these and they've turned out pretty good. You can also paint them or use just MDF or whatever, but that concludes the episode of the DIY board, letter board. Anything to say, Landon?
If you do want more videos like we just did, make sure to comment it and make sure to subscribe.
Yep, for sure.